Hey,
Girl,
hi, how are
how
you?
are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. I'm well, thank you. Coming up to the
Good.
end of the week now, so can't complain. Cheers to the
Yes,
weekend.
yes, can't wait. Let me just see if this light makes it a little bit better.
Good?
Bit orange, yeah, but it's all
Yeah.
right. It works. It works.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's cool. I feel like I even need to move back slightly.
Let me see if
Cool.
the setup is it.
Guys, we are joined today by Casey Elisha. Casey, would you
Yeah.
like to give the guys a little introduction? Let them know who you are.
So yes, I am Casey Elisha. I am a children's author, of three children's books. The most well-known one is probably Love Life Throw.
Yes.
Um, I'm also the writer and executive producer of Love Life Throw the musical, which was our adaptation of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I dabble in a few other things as well. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Now, Love Die Throw is like, I guess, so popular, even if you are not into books or you don't have any children. Some way, somehow, you've heard about the book Love Die Throw. But take us back to the
Mhm.
beginning of, before Love Die Throw was published. What made you kind of want to get into writing? Is it something you've always loved? Take us back and let us know what was the start.
So I've kind of always been into writing, reading, and stuff like that growing up. I
Mm-hmm.
was good at English and stuff like that, but I never thought I would be a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I studied communications when I went to university. So obviously there's an element of writing, and
Mm-hmm.
journalism was part of my course. So at one point I did feel like I'd go down the journalism route, but
Yeah.
changed my mind. And then yeah, like I had no intention to be an author or to write a book. I just
Mm-hmm.
happened to decide, like at the time I was dabbling in songwriting, and I just wrote this little poem which essentially was Love Thy Throat, and I just had it on my
Mm.
laptop and
Wow.
was like, let's, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'll leave it there.
Mm.
And then I was like, you know what, it would be kind of cool to do a children's book, but I didn't act on that until I
Yeah.
spoke with one of my friends. Um, and she was literally like, what are you waiting for?
Mm.
Just do it. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, cool, let's try it. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna do this as a one-off project and just see
Mm-hmm.
what comes of it. And then it went really well. Like the book
All from
did
there.
amazing on the first day, and then I was like, okay, I might need to stick with this a bit longer. But
Amazing.
yeah, it was kind of all accidental, weirdly enough.
Amazing. So you started Love That Throw. You wrote a poem.
It literally was a poem. It was literally
Literally
just
just a poem on
words.
your laptop. What fueled that poem? What was you going through at the time or
I couldn't even tell you. I think I was just writing. Like I was literally
completely
just
random?
expressing. Yeah, I was literally just expressing. And I know when it became a book and I really started to think about what I had written, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I want this for my future daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to reflect on obviously the things that I had been through growing up and not liking
Mm.
myself and not liking my skin and not liking my hair,
Mm.
all these things that I'd got bullied for. And I was like, yeah, like this is the book I want to be able to give to my daughter so that she
Mm.
knows
Mm.
like I'm beautiful no matter what. And I was like,
Amazing.
forget my daughter for a sec because I don't have kids.
Mm.
All the other kids can get it in the
Mm-hmm.
meantime. And so yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
just went from there.
Amazing. And what was it like then? What was that journey of converting your poem, which was a random poem that you essentially wrote on your laptop, to publishing a book? What was that journey like for you? How did that come to fruition?
So yeah, so I had that conversation with my friend on, it was the carnival weekend in August 2015, and I
Mm-hmm.
had the book out by December. So I literally was just like, okay, cool. What are the things I need to do to make a book?
Mm-hmm.
I started looking into that. I hollered at my friend who was an illustrator and was like, I had this children's book. Do you want to illustrate it? She was like, yeah, I've wanted to illustrate a book for time. Let's do it.
Amazing.
So we
Yeah.
just got the pictures together, found a printer, and then I just spoke to my printers and was like, okay, cool. What do I need to do? How do we actually make this into a book? And
Mm-hmm.
they helped me a lot.
Right.
Then obviously like did my research, and because I just thought this was going to be a one-time project. When
Mm-hmm.
I did my first batch of books, I didn't know about things like ISBNs or what I need to do to kind of get it into a library and stuff. It was only when I
Mm-hmm.
did my second batch and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. This is more of a business now.
Right.
That was the point that I really started to do my research and learn what I
Mm.
needed to do to have like a legitimate book.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was literally just kind of learning as you go and just figuring it
Yeah.
out along the way. That's literally what I did.
Right. So for those of us that don't know, which includes me, what is an ISBN?
So an ISBN is an international standard book number.
Right.
And it's essentially the number that's at the bottom of your barcode on a book. And that's the number that allows your book to be identified by systems across the world,
Right.
like all around the world. So if someone was to put your ISBN in Google, they'd be able to find that book. So each book in the world has a unique number.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're learning, guys. I hope you got your notepads and pens. Okay. So how did you source that information? How did you learn things like that? Who sort of taught you, or was it something you just learned along the way? Where did you get your information from, essentially?
It was literally just a lot of online research. I didn't really talk to people about it. Like I don't think I knew many authors and stuff like that, but I was literally just researching online and calling up. Like I remember calling up Nielsen, which is the agency where you can buy the ISBN, and talking to them. They're like, okay, cool. What do I need to do? Okay, cool. Like, how do I buy this? How do I add it? All the rest of it. And then my printers, because they were printers and obviously they do this for a living, they were able to tell me about a lot of things as well.
Right.
But outside of that, it was just figuring it out along the way. Yeah.
And also being proactive, because you did step out and contact printers, you know, they're able, it's always sometimes like contacting that one person who's able to go, right, okay, and then you sort of go on your training, your journey, and collect more gems along the way as to like, right, this is how I need to put it together.
Yeah, that's very true.
Amazing. In terms of you've published your book now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You've got published and self-published. There's a difference between the two, right?
Yes.
And you self-published your book.
That's correct.
Dissect that for us.
So self-publishing essentially is doing it yourself. So if you have a publisher, you might get an agent. You'd likely get an agent first, who will like your manuscript, work with you on your manuscript, and then take you to a publisher, negotiate a contract and everything. Then your publisher would take it on, and they would be in control of printing the book, getting into the right markets, doing the marketing, the PR, events, getting you booked for this, that, and the third. When you self-publish, there's no machine behind you. It's literally just you.
Yeah.
So like there's two ways you can kind of do it. You can kind of do the whole thing yourself, which I did. And that's literally sourcing everything yourself, doing all your marketing yourself, like everything literally yourself. Or you can kind of go the third party publishing route, which is using like another company to kind of support you along the way. Some of these companies are like do print on demand. So for example, if you were to create your book, excuse me, if you were to create your book on Amazon, it's called Kindle Direct Publishing now, but it used to be called Create Space. If you did that, you could create your book on their platform, send it out as soon as you get an order. You don't have to print in bulk or anything like that. You can literally just print it as you go. Obviously there's pros and cons to each way of doing it, but essentially you have control of the process, so it works out.
Okay, that's brilliant. And you were able to then, well, actually, before we get to that step, so you self-published your book, which first of all, okay, girl. Because
thank you.
For someone who, you know, it's your first time dipping your feet in that field and in that water, and then to have the confidence to, especially when it comes to poems and things, I do find, I don't personally write poems, but I do find sometimes when you embody some art, whether it be physical art, whether it be poems, it feels quite precious to you.
Yeah.
And you almost feel sometimes a little bit apprehensive sharing it. So for you to actually not only share your poem, but to self-publish a book from it is actually phenomenal. So well done for that. That is brilliant. And did you have any kind of like role models around you that you had seen maybe published a book before, or?
No, I don't think I had anyone like that I could say proper inspired me in that sense. But in general, I'm the type of person, like I like, since I've been young, I've been creative in different ways. Whether it be doing Christmas performances with my cousin, like for the family, going to drama school, doing different things. So I'm always like, when I get an idea, I'm just like, oh, that might be interesting. Let me figure that out. I don't necessarily have to see someone do it to think, oh, I can do that. It usually just pops up.
A self-starter, which is a great trait to have. So
Yes.
what I was going to say is, when you published your book, so it's made now, it's now a product, how did you market it and, you know, have the world talking about Love Thy Throne? What was the process with marketing? What was the key? Because that is difficult. You know, there's amazing products out there that we have no idea are there because the marketing and the branding is just absent. And without marketing, you don't know. So how are you able to successfully market your book to hit?
I mean, let me first say, I am no marketing or sales expert whatsoever. I hate sales, can't stand it. Like, I even find it awkward going to events if I'm selling my book, because I like that whole sales side of it. It's just not me. So I prefer other people doing it for me, because I just can't sell myself.
That's fair.
Yeah, I just can't do it. But so when I first had the book, I was so scared, and I was like, okay, I've organized this book launch for friends, family, but then it's open to the public as well. But I don't want to promote it because I'm scared. Like, I didn't know what to do. And my friend Ramel London was like, "Are you crazy? Send me that information." And she put it out. And off the back of that, I then was like, okay, cool, let me share it a bit and stuff. And I got positive responses, which was great. And that's how I first started that marketing journey. The book then got picked up, I guess, by The Voice. I did a couple things on BBC, I think it was BBC London and BBC Northampton, and then on London 360. And people just started hearing about it through word of mouth. And that was literally just from posting on social media. Like, literally, Ramel started that, because if she hadn't have posted it, I probably wouldn't have, which wouldn't have made sense. But I was just so scared about what people were going to say. So I did that. And then I've been very, very fortunate in that I've just managed to either come into some people, so like sending books to certain people with a good following, or just like talking to people with a good following, and because they believe in the book and the product, they're happy to share it, and to let people know about it as well. But essentially, it's been doing that, been going to events. Like, the first couple of years I was at loads and loads and loads of events, just marketing the book, selling the book at stalls, so people could actually just see me in person and see the book in person as well. So that's why I did a lot of, like I said, I'm not the best when it comes to marketing and sales, but I just tried as much as possible to kind of get the book out there, get people talking about it as well. And I know I've still got a way to go, because as much as so many people know about it, there's so many people that don't know about it.
There's a whole world.
Exactly. There's a whole world of people that don't know about it. So I just continue to try and push that marketing, but it's not easy.
It's not, and that's why there are people who specialize in marketing and branding, because there's an art to it, and we don't all have that. But what I picked up there, which was actually quite funny, is you felt what I said earlier about people not wanting to share their art and their poem. You were able to convert it into the book, but then you kind of had that moment when the book was present and it was time to sell it. How did you overcome that? Was that just because your friend kind of pushed you out there and you thought, okay, there's nowhere to hide now? Or what did you practice to actually feel confident in your product?
So Ramel was a godsend. Like, I love her so much. It's a beautiful friendship, and we both encourage each other in amazing ways. So having that encouragement from her then was phenomenal. Having encouragement from just other people around me who were just letting me know just how great it was what I was doing. But then in addition to that, I always have this mindset of, if you don't try, you won't know. Like, and if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm always like, let me just try. Let me just do it and see what happens. Do you know what I mean? If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But let me at least try. And I think, because with all of my creative projects, I have that moment when I'm like, oh, I'm scared. But then I'm like, I just need to get over this and see what happens, because it's not going to kill me. So, And
that's the mindset to have. Another thing I've picked up, a pattern in your story so far, is the importance of having really good friends and strong people around you. Because one of your friends pushed you to turn your poem into a book. And then another one of your friends pushed you to start promoting and selling your book. So that is powerful. and
Yeah.
something not to be slept on. How would you say, you know, in terms of networking, these might be friends who maybe have already been your friends before the triumph, but what advice could you give for maybe networking or getting yourself in the right rooms around the right people to maybe someone out there who doesn't have that sort of circle?
I would say, do you know what? Reach out. It's all about reaching out to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made some really great friends through reaching out to people and then meeting other friends through those people and stuff. Like, and I think that's been really, really, I don't want to say, yeah, do you know what? It has been key.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I never ever reached out or I'm reaching out to you because I know you have something for me. It's just
Mm-hmm.
been, oh, hey, like I know you do this, I know I do this. Like it'd be great
Yeah.
to like connect.
Connect. Yeah.
And I think you have to be very authentic and genuine when you're reaching out to people as well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you have to kind of have your stuff together to a certain degree
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to reach out to someone when you don't have, I guess, a solid
Any
foundation
added
of what you're trying
value.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because those relationships can fizzle out, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
actually invest in your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think again, like, I do think I'm very lucky in that just the people that I have as friends that I had as friends before becoming an author,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the people I became friends with afterwards, everyone
Mm-hmm.
just has that hustle mindset and that
Mm-hmm.
go-getter mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to surround yourself with those people. So if those people
Absolutely.
aren't in your circle, just go to the events where you think those people will be.
Yeah.
Frequent those events. And making friends isn't always easy. It's like being
Mm.
at school. Like, do you know what I mean? Walking
Mm.
into an event is like the first day of school. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
who are these people? But you
Who's
just,
my tribe?
there you go. But you just have to
Yeah.
reach out. And I know for
Mm-hmm.
me, I've managed to get some amazing opportunities from
Mm.
reaching out, just putting
Mm.
myself out there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I've got some really amazing friends
Amazing.
from reaching out as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that's great advice. And for anyone listening who maybe doesn't have, you know, that circle, that's some brilliant advice. Seek out networking events, seek out, even now in the day of social media, you can literally find anyone, anywhere.
Anyway, yes.
So, you know, people on similar missions to you or whatever you see in common. And I'm a big believer in just reaching out, even to just say, hey, like, I've seen you're doing this, it's great. We're on a similar path, or I can relate in some way. One day, like, we'll connect, or soon we'll connect, and then just stay in touch. It doesn't even have to
Yes.
be forceful that let's do something and let's do it now. Just, you
Yeah.
know, introduce yourself and see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. Also, guys, any questions that you have for Casey throughout our conversation, just drop them in the comment section or in the chat box, and I'm going to visit them shortly. So, Casey, we've got this book. It's
Yeah.
out there now. It's doing well. You've been pushed to market it and be the front line at the events, and it's going really, really positively. You then converted the book into a children's theatre production, right?
Yes. Yes.
Talk us through that process.
So I grew up doing musical theatre from
Mm-hmm.
probably when I was about, what, I think I was doing drama from like 9, and no, I was doing drama a bit before, and then I started musical theatre about 9, 11, I don't know, something. But
Mm-hmm.
literally it took up so much of my life.
Yeah.
And I went to Theatre Peckham. At the time it was called New Peckham Varieties.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of always been in like my blood. Like I've just loved it. So I stay in touch with like a lot of the people that came up with me at the drama school, and
Mm-hmm.
we used to go back and see like the Christmas plays. And one year we were like, "Right, we should do something here. Like we should come back
Mm-hmm.
together. We should do something." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, let's do something around the book. Let's adapt
Mm.
it. Everyone was like, all right, cool. Everyone was literally so quick to be on board. I was like, this is actually sick.
Yeah.
Um,
No backing out
so
now.
literally, so I was like, all right, cool. Let me actually try and pull this together. So
Yeah.
it was what, January of 2018. I got in a room with about, there was 7 of us. Me, funny enough, it was me and 6 of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just followed the people that I was talking to, just generally talking to and interacting with and stuff. All the people that I knew like had just crazy creative minds.
Mm.
So it ended up being me and the 6 guys. And we literally were just having writers' room sessions, just throwing out ideas, trying to work things out. And we
Mm.
slowly pieced it together. And we started that in January. And I think we started auditioning in like June, and then started our rehearsals in July. So it moved super quickly.
Mm.
And we learned a lot along the way. We were refining a lot along the way, and then we had the production in October. So it worked out, but it moved very quickly.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, it was great. It was so interesting seeing the story develop, because the book itself, if you read the book, you'll know it's quite simple. It's about Kemi getting her hair done on wash day. Do you know what I mean? Just going through that process.
Right.
But when we turned it into a musical, we obviously had to explore that story more. And so we ended up kind of just developing it and sort of exploring the reasons behind why Kemi feels a certain way about her hair, like what's her relationship with her parents and how she's kind of got to where she is. I wanted it to be something that a lot of young children would be able to relate to. And the feedback is that they have. So
yeah,
I think it worked out.
Brilliant. I'm yet to read the book myself, but it is my next like £1 purchase. So hold me to it. I'm buying 2 copies for my nieces.
Okay.
But I think that's phenomenal. And actually, who was it? I said to someone, "Oh, I've got someone coming on the Candid Conversations live. She's the author of Love Thy Fro," and they said, "Oh, that's a play, isn't it?" And I was like, "No, it's a book." They were like, No, I definitely went to go and see a play. This is before I was even aware that you had made a theatre production out of it. And they were like, yeah, no, we definitely took the kids. It was really good. So I'm like, okay. And but unbeknown to me, there was actually a play as well. So you didn't even know, but there's some real good feedback. Well, you know about the feedback you've heard, but outside of the feedback you've heard, there's some real good feedback out there, because the play was really brilliant. The kids loved it. And that's phenomenal. Do you plan on doing any more?
We definitely want to evolve and do more with it. At the moment, we're just kind of in a development phase. So, I mean, for me, like long-term goals, I want to see that show on a big stage, like a national stage, or even a Royal Court Theatre stage. Like, I just want to see it on a bigger stage, and I want to see it as a film as well, because as much as it's like it's aspirational for me, it's also like I just feel the message is so important. And I feel like we need these children to see themselves on screens, do you know what I mean? And see this story that's being told. So yeah, we're doing a lot of development work, and you know, before plays even get to like national stage, they go through like so many different drafts, and we're on draft 2. So
well, we're just working towards it.
Yes, I mean, we've had like a few conversations with people. Like I've spoken to someone at the national, and they've told me like how we kind of have to, what we'd have to do development wise if we wanted to kind of get to that stage. So yeah, we're putting the work in, and we're just kind of like trying not to rush it. That's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to rush it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, whilst we're still on the subject of books, because I do want to talk about, you're a big advocate of taking a leap of faith as well. So we'll touch on that shortly. But whilst we're on books, you have Love Thy Fro, which is your most popular book. But you've got a couple of other projects as well, right?
Yes.
Give us an idea of those.
So books wise, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, books wise, yeah, let's stick on books for now.
So books, I've got Love Thy Fro, then I've got My Mummy is Superwoman, I've got My Daddy Does, then I have a children's journal called My Empowerment Journal. And then I also have an ebook that I released this year called #BeBold. So you want to self-publish a book. I think that's it.
Amazing. And just give us a brief idea of the Mummy and Daddy book and the journal. What can we expect from that?
So the Mummy and Daddy books are basically the same, not the same book, but very similar books, but obviously a mum and daughter and a dad and his son. And it's literally just all the things a child loves about their parent. And I purposely made it a very universal story because I wanted it to be something that all children could read, but it just has Black characters. And it's very interesting because I've had people in the past like, oh, is it for Black kids? And I'm like, no, it's for all kids. We just have Black characters in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that's why I did those. And then my empowerment journal it's an introductory journal for children to kind of get them into the art of expressing themselves, whether through words or creatively. So there's like exercises. There's an exercise around I love myself, what I love about myself, and then there's an exercise around goal setting. And then outside of that, you have your you can do it. I didn't make it daily or weekly or anything. I just put like a blank space for the date, so they can use it however often they want to. And then there's a space where they can create. So if they want to draw, or if they want to like write a poem, whatever they want to do, they can create. And then I've got little motivational quotes at the bottom of each of the pages. But I just feel like, I think journaling is such an important part for a lot of people in general. And I think it's a good thing to kind of introduce children to that from an early age, so they just kind of get into that healthy place of expressing themselves.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
That is amazing that you've
thank
actually
you.
thought of, like, they do say when you have an idea you're never the first, but I'm pretty sure I've never heard of a children's journal before.
It's funny because I've seen a couple since. I released that in 2016, and I hadn't seen anything at the time as well.
that is phenomenal. That is,
Thank you.
That's been added to my Black Friday purchase too.
Yes.
Here, I'm sure, so I'm going to be held liable. So that's brilliant. And speak us a little bit through so you want to self-publish a book.
Yeah, so literally I used to get quite a few questions about the self-publishing process in my DMs, and people emailing me. And at first I would respond to people, like anytime a question would come in, I'll just respond. But then it got to a point where I was like, I actually don't always have the time to respond, because there's just so much information to give. Like, I don't want to kind of just give a kind of washy response, like, oh yeah, just need to do this, do that. Like, no, I need to give you paragraphs of information so you can take this and do what you need to do. So I was like, okay, cool, let me put this into a book. I probably had the idea for a while, and I was going to do a video on it as well. Just never got around to it. And then one day I was like, when was it? I think it was sometime last year. I was like, you know what, let me just start writing this book and just putting information down. So I had thrown up a couple blog posts, like finding an illustrator and stuff. So I pulled that, put it into the book, and then I just really started going through my journey of writing a book and all the things I learned. So ISBNs, trademarking, copywriting, getting an editor, finding your illustrator, all those little things, pricing, like, and I just put it into a book. And so now if someone asks me for advice, I'm like, look at the book, because it literally has everything. And then afterwards come to me with questions.
Brilliant. And it's a good way just to monetize your skills now, because that's a skill set. And I think that's something that's highly slept on, is when you've gone through the process, you had to like hit your head on rocks on the way down whilst you're publishing your book, and that's how you've now got that information, and it's very valuable information. And I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that what they possess, whatever that might be, the information that they possess. And if someone's always coming to you asking you, hey, can you do this, or how do I do this, like, light bulb moment, how can I turn this into something? And I think that needs to be normalized. It's not just by default because I can do it and you know me, and I need to tell you how to do it. Hold on a minute, let me see what I can do here, and grow it, which is brilliant. I love that. I'm going to get into some of you guys' comments just shortly. I know you're a big advocate in taking a leap of faith. Where did that come from? Speak us behind that journey.
Do you know what? It comes from my whole thing of, if you don't try, you won't know. And everyone has dreams or goals of some sort, and it's like, what's stopping you from trying? Do you know what I mean? You might fail. It's that real. You might fail, but you might fly as well. And you don't want to be 70, 80, 90, like, oh, I wish I tried to do that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, do you know what? Like, I wish. Me personally, I prefer to know, okay, cool, this went well. This didn't really go as well, but at least I tried. So so that's always kind of been my mindset. So I left my full-time job in I want to say 2017, and it was kind of it was kind of planned, kind of not planned. So they presented me with I was on a secondment, and they presented me with a redundancy from my original role. Now they said I could reapply for the role, but it was a lower scale. And I was like, do you know what? This is the perfect time for me to take that redundancy money and bounce and just do what I need to do. So I left that, and I was very fortunate that I got an amazing flexible opportunity with Slider Cuts as an assistant. So I was able to kind of have that to help me. But the way it worked out, I really got time to focus on what I wanted to achieve at the time. And it was working on my books, but it was also working on tour management in music, because again, I'm that person. I like to do many different things. So I was able to take that leap of faith, and no lie, when I left, so many opportunities came my way. So many things happened. The book did really well. Obviously started the I think the musical was the year after. It was 2017. Musical came shortly after. I've had some really, really great tour management opportunities, and I'm like, if I had stayed in that job, I wouldn't have had any of this at all. So I'm like, listen, everyone needs to take a leap of faith. And a lot of people feel like a leap of faith is always a big jump. So like, I'm jumping, I'm leaving my job, I have nothing, I'm starting from the bottom, and I'm going to be grinding. But it's like, no, do you know what? There's different versions of leaps of faith. Do you know what I mean? You can kind of make it work for you, but it's just about putting fear to the side and taking that risk. So I'm a huge advocate for it, and I have so much respect for people that do it, because I mean, fear is a real thing.
It is. And just coming out of your comfort and norm, especially when you've got maybe responsibilities, or everyone thinks, oh, you should have a job. Because when you meet someone, the first question they ask you is, oh, what do you do? Are you defined by what you do? And then you kind of feel really proud going, oh, I'm the director of, I manage, I work here. And that's kind of what society has programmed you to think and to feel, everyone. So when it does come to jumping or stepping into entrepreneurship, or just doing something like writing a book, you know, you think, oh gosh, like when this goes out onto the market, what are people going to think? It's a bit embarrassing. I'm not an author. Like, there's so many things you can tell yourself to talk yourself out of it. And I think a lot of today's mentality as well is quite fast lane. So because of social media, and because everyone can see what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, people want to jump and then fly immediately. Oh yeah, I'm a success. Hey, not really accepting that this could take 10 years or 20 years. You know, and looking at your role models, whether it's an Oprah, whether it's a Diddy, whether it's a Khaled, whoever it is, look how old they are. They got like 20, sometimes 30 years on us. So people who are our age, or maybe 10 years younger, aspire to be who they aspire to be, as opposed to trying to impress everyone on the internet. Now, like, you might fall flat on your face, you might get a pie in the face, but it's fine. It's just all part of the journey. And I literally feel like once you overcome that fear of like, oh, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? What am I going to do? God and the universe starts working in tandem to draw you the opportunities, like how you had your opportunities. Because you took that leap of faith, everything starts to align. And because people are so scared to take the leap of faith, they never get to taste that alignment. And then they don't believe in it because they've never experienced it.
Listen!
So I'm a big believer. I'm on par with you with that.
This
100. Like, you've got to take the smooth with the rough, but the promise is the promise. And
okay, that's what I'm saying.
100.
Okay,
I'm with you, girl. Right, I'm going to get into some of these comments. Let's see what we have. So we got some Hayes in here. Hey, Elisha. Hey, Cocoa Bean Gifts. You are fire. We got some love in here from the Queens. Looking lovely. Thank you. Hey, hi, everyone. Hey, Diva Directors. Lauren Lashes. We got some love strucks. They're loving the melanin out here. So we got to love that to what you were saying about the book, the Love Thy Throw book.
Thank you.
We have, let's get through all these names. Completely get that. I think that's also to do with the book. True. I think that's to do with the journal. It's amazing having people that are there and want to push you to do better, do good, and be great. Amen. As we can see, you're a living testament to that. I need friends like that for sure. Well, She gave you the keys, girl.
Yes.
Go and
Go and
network,
network,
go to
reach
events,
out.
reach out to people, DM. I also think there's like such a stigma behind DMing people. But
Yeah.
if you like, don't just go and DM anyone. But if the energy is right and you feel like, oh, do you know what? Just, hey,
100%.
it's social media. Be
100%.
social. 100%. And I feel like once that stigma is just put to the side, so much greatness can come of it.
Of course, of course. You literally just
Would,
have to put yourself out there.
would you write books of a different genre?
Never say never. Like funny enough, at the moment I'm writing something. I don't know if I'll ever release it or whatever, but I'm writing something for like an adult fictional book. It's kind of romance, kind of not. But I'm literally just doing it because I'm like, I actually haven't written creatively for adults for a very long time. Like I don't remember when I last did it because I've just been so in this kids world. So I'm just writing, and if I like it at the end of it, then I might release it. But yeah, I never say never because do you know what I mean? I never know where I'm going to be or where my mind's going to be in like a year or 5 years or whatever. So yeah.
Are all your kids' stuff stemmed from your childhood, or do you have like nieces and nephews or anyone else who inspired that content?
I think it all comes from just my own, I guess, insecurities and issues I dealt with growing up, knowing how much how much I didn't love myself and how that's impacted me growing up, and impacted the way I've done things and some of the decisions I've made. And I just have this thing of, if I can help another little girl, another little boy not feel how I felt, then I'm happy. I just want everyone to appreciate their beauty, appreciate their awesomeness from a young age. And it's not easy being a Black child. Do you know what I mean? In the society, like it can be very, very hard. And as much as we, you know, parents will try and do their best, sometimes you need someone that's outside of the family, someone that you don't even know, to give them the message for them to actually listen to it. So that's literally my goal. I mean, there's other little children in my family, my friends' kids and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, I want to be able to inspire them as well.
Yeah.
But it does come from what I experienced growing up.
Personal experiences.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And do you know what? I'm sure you already have, as you said, like the play, the feedback. When I was younger, I didn't see any representation of young Black girls.
This is the thing.
At all. Not on the telly. Like, you watch like Tracy Beaker and all these things. There's never any, you know, Black girls on your TV. There was never any Black girls in your books. And actually, you look at Barbie and you're like, oh, I wish I had Barbie's hair. Or how comes like there's no Barbies that look like me? You know, you go to the toy shop and it was the norm to just have everything white. Yeah. And that's how we grew up. And then you make a book with Black representation, and suddenly, is this just for Black kids?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
We've grown up with that all our life.
Exactly. But it's amazing how they actually can't see past that. Like I don't understand it, to be honest, but it's something that we definitely have to keep working on and keep like pushing out so that it becomes the norm.
The norm.
Yeah.
I think now with everything going on, we're making more headway than ever. So we can only hope that
to a degree, though, because I don't know. I don't know. I hope that there's change and stuff, and I know that, for example, even in the publishing industry, I know that they're trying to make change to a degree, but it's like, how much change can be done, and how long is it going to take for this change to be implemented into an industry that is so deeply non-Black, non-diverse, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally built on a foundation that's not diverse whatsoever. It's not for us. Yeah. So
it's 450 years to undo.
There you go. It's going to take I'm like, it's going to take longer, and you know, at some point there will be like a significant change, but we'll just have to see. Because right now it's kind of like the trend. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like everyone's talking about it, so we need to talk about it as well, make sure we're doing something. But now I'm like, okay, cool, let's see if you have actually done something in a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year. So yeah,
let's hope for the best. Hey, I mean, I don't think we'll be around to see it, the full change. But if the work we do and the generations to come do means in 400 years,
yes,
God willing, Earth is still standing. If that means equality and opportunities are there, then our work is done.
Yeah.
So
that's
right,
true.
we have. Yes, I'm definitely going to purchase the book. Amazing. Yay. You said you're not good at marketing, girl. Amazing, amazing. So she's seen the play. Ooh, have we lost her?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're there. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we had someone in here saying that the play was amazing. What made you want to write the book? I think you said your younger experiences, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. A film would be amazing. Someone saying, I'll definitely be tuning in. That's a crazy question when there are storybooks. Oh, they're talking about, when there are storybooks with just white people. We don't ask, is it for white kids? Exactly.
100%. We had Biff and Chip. We had to deal with it. So it needs to be normalized.
Amazing. Any more questions you guys have, feel free to drop them through. What is next for Casey Elisha?
Whew, what is next? I don't even know at this moment in time. I mean, everything that I kind of had planned for the year, obviously Rona came through and was like, no. So I don't know. I just want to continue developing Love Life Throw with the team. We are sort of working on setting up some kind of production company where we can develop other things, not just children's stuff either. Like, we just want to create diverse stories and put them out there. So within the team, we're kind of working on brainstorming other ideas and stuff. Like, we have a few ideas. So everything's kind of just like that creative development phase. But outside of that, I mean, I just want to make it through coronavirus and,
Amen.
And then figure things out on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to not even plan too much because we just don't know how things are going to be and what things are going to be like. I mean, theaters are closed right now. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. We can't even do like any workshopping or development in that sense. So we'll just have to see. But
a good time to get your creative wheels churning. And put down some writing. You can write a book about 2020.
Listen.
It'll be a bestseller, I'm sure.
It'll be a whole movie. Right. Oh, it's been crazy. But
I'm telling you. So if the people want to find you, where can they find you? Drop us your handles.
So Instagram, Twitter at Casey Elisha _. I'm also at CaseyElisha.com. And then for the books, I'm at C Elisha Books on Instagram and Twitter, and then CaseyElishaBooks.com. And I've also started #BeBold on Instagram, which is just an account about being bold, about taking risks and putting fear to the side and celebrating people that have done that. So that's at #BeBold. Yeah, that's
amazing. Amazing. You guys tap into Casey's journey and continue to follow the amazing journey. We can catch this on a replay on IGTV for the next 24 hours, and then it will be uploaded to our YouTube from there indefinitely. So if you guys want to watch it back, or Casey, you've got anyone that wants to catch it on a replay, that's where they can find it. All right.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.